Big curveball. It's the first curveball he threw. 2 balls and 1 strike. They're going to make him pitch.
Lansford in on the grass at third. 3-1 the count.
Here's what I'll tell you if they're taking, Ben, right here.
Now, of course, even that is hard to figure because Sachs is one of the better hitters in the lineup.
But if you're going to make him pitch, here's where you'd want him to do it. This will tell you Lasorda's plan.
3-1. And there's your plan. He's too good a hitter to take a swing away. When we get down into that lineup a little bit, there are some hitters who will be taking. People like Danny Heath would take. Hamilton might take. In fact, quite a few.
I would think that Hamilton and Griffin better take.
Yeah, but I didn't think that Sachs would because he's going to have enough trouble generating an offense. So they had him swing 3-1 and he broke his bat. 3-2 the count of Steve Sachs. Dave Spurth. Pretty good fastball up, but much better with a tail on it when he gets it down. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And he got it too far down. Now we'll see about manufacturing. Sachs stole 5 in the league championship series. He has 1 stolen base here. You have Franklin Stubbs. Now you might look at Stubbs' numbers during the regular year and say, what kind of a number 2 hitter is he? After all, he's supposed to be a power hitter. He wound up hitting 8. One reason they want Stubbs up there is because he furnishes a pretty good screen. In other words, with Steinbach behind the plate, they're hoping he might lose track of that fraction of a second when Sachs decides to go. He bluffed. Ball 1. Obviously, he's left-handed, and you like to keep the first baseman on the bag and open up the right side of the infield. But the Dodgers are hoping that if the time comes to turn Sachs loose, that maybe Steinbach won't pick him up.
He'll get some help from that bench. They'll be screaming as loud as they can. I'm sure La Russa has told his ball club, hey, give him some help. Any left-hand hitter. Stewart has a good move to first base. It's quick, but it's not a good quick move to the plate.
And he is still at it. The thought of not eating on the day when he pitches. And he's still doing that. 1 ball and no strikes to Franklin Stubbs. And he lines it to right, and at Canseco, who appeared to have a little trouble seeing it, he held his glove up even though he is in shade, and that ball was hit right at him.
Might have had trouble that ball coming out of the stands because I don't think the sun was that big a factor. It didn't get that high. It was a sinker all the way, but he got that glove up there right. He didn't hardly have to move. Sinking all the way. Well hit.
So Stubbs hits one on the button right at Canseco. 1 out, and here is Mickey Hatcher. Sachs a fairly good lead. 1 ball and no strikes. You will see a lot of this tonight, and it's not a decoy, a question of when you want to play hit and run. There he goes. Hit and run, ground ball into right field, and Sachs will just keep on going. And that basically is the pattern. You had Sachs hit 3-1 because he's a good hitter, and he eventually walks. You were hoping to use Stubbs, and he hit the ball hard. Now you play hit and run, and for Lasorda, he's in business first and third. And now Mike Davis coming up.
He catches a break with Hatcher hitting that ball. We know he can hit the right field, and he just hits it perfectly because they were playing him up the middle. All his base hits that he's had before have been pulled. He's been pulling the ball, but this time just absolutely perfect.
Mike Davis had a couple of big years here in Oakland. Ball 1, and that thing wrestled by Terry Steinbach. Good play. 1 ball, no strikes.
There's the chart on Hatcher. You can see why they were playing him to pull. He hasn't hit a ball from center field over.
So a walk to Sachs, single to right by Hatcher. 1 ball and no strikes to Mike Davis. That's a strike. And that had a little something on it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sachs at third, Hatcher at first. Davis, a very disappointing year. 2 home runs and 17 runs batted in for the entire season. And he is hitting cleanup tonight. And it gets away at the plate, so Sachs will score. Hatcher to second, makes a turn and holds. And the Dodgers pick up a run in the first inning.
And it was a cross-up. You see Stewart and Steinbach. I don't know how he could miss this ball. I mean, it is high. It just hit right off. He closed the glove. It hit right off the heel. It's a pass ball all the way. I mean, it wasn't throwing hard. It looked like the fork ball that he threw with the rotation, and he just didn't catch it. You talk about manufacturing a run, a walk, a ground ball, and a pass ball.
Of course, that was a pretty important hit and run single to right, but the pass ball is a gift, and now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mike Davis. Laid off that fork ball, just missed the corner.
2 gifts. The base on balls is a gift.
Sure, but of course he went 3-2 with him, so he had to fight for the gift. 2-2 to Mike Davis. Davis played here from 1980 to 87. And he hits one sharply, and over to knock it down is Hubbard, but that's all. What Hubbard did was keep it on the infield and save a run. If it goes through, why, Hatcher would have scored easily. It'll be an error charge to Hubbard. The ball was hit hard, and it hit Hubbard of the wrists.
He didn't get the glove on it. You can see him shaking his hand. He gets over there. He thinks he can make the play. Usually a backhander knock it down, but it hits him right in the bare hand, you can see. And even if he picks it up, he can't make that throw. And when he flips the ball back to Stewart, you can just see him kind of lob it.
There have been 4 errors in this series. 3 of the 4 by Oakland. So the Dodgers get another break, and here's John Shelby. Still only 1 out. Shelby is just in one of those slumps, and it happens to him during the year. Not only has he had 3 for 11, but in the 11 at-bats, he has struck out 4 times, failing to advance anybody.
His first hitter, he started off with a strike.
And right away, a strikeout hitter is in a hole, 0-2. Remember last night, what might have been very much the turning point of the game and even the series was when the Dodgers blew a bases loaded, nobody out in the 6th inning.
When you see La Russa do that, I asked him about it. He's talking to his catchers what he's doing. Is the only one he's given a sign to.
0-2. There goes the runner Davis. The pitch outside, the throw down. Great play by Weiss to one hand in the dirt. If it gets by him, the Dodgers have another run.
And Steinbach tried to stop the base runner Hatcher at third, but his throw was still low. Watch him as he gets the ball. He gets a good ball to handle, takes a quick look, and Weiss really makes a good play by digging it up. All he's worried about there is really catching the ball, not worrying about the tag, as Lasorda tries to steal a run.
2nd and 3rd with 1 out. And it's hit off the glove of Stewart, deflected to Hubbard, who throws to first in time.
He may have hurt his leg.
And
his right leg
is John Shelby.
He really hit that bag badly.
The run is in. It is 2-0 Dodgers. Taking the play at third is Mike Davis, and John Shelby goes to the dugout with the Dodgers leading 2-0. That would be a 1-4-3 deflected by Stewart to Hubbard over to McGuire.
That's always dangerous. Watch, the ball goes off his glove, but watch Shelby. He's going to try to beat it out and stretch with the right leg right there, and it turns. And you can see the anxiety on that Dodger bench.
And here is Mike Scioscia. 1 ball and no strikes. Now, Scioscia is the kind of a hitter, if the Dodgers feel that maybe Stewart is pressing, as we see John Shelby, who appears to be okay, they might ask Scioscia to take a strike. We'll see. 1 ball, no strikes. Ball 2. On deck, a veteran hitter, Danny Heap. And he, again, is another type hitter they might ask to take a strike against Stewart. Two 2-0 to Scioscia with 2 down and a runner at third. And he hits one to left center. Digging is Henderson, and he's there. But the Dodgers get 2 runs on 1 hit, an error, and leave a man. And it's 2-0 Dodgers, half an inning.
It's new from Polaroid, the Impulse camera. Go where it takes you.
You got to go. Go with your impulse. Go.
Go with the new Polaroid Impulse camera.
You got to go. Oh.
Your meeting. You nervous?
Didn't sleep a wink.
Go with your impulse.
Hey, I like your new car. Thanks. It's got loads of power and really holds the road. You need all that performance? No, but it's nice to know it's there. You really have to take care of a car like this. A car like this is supposed to take care of you. That's why I bought Michelin's.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
When the clock strikes 6:30, babe, time to head for Golden Lights. It's a good time for a great taste dinner at McDonald's. It's Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight. Listen to the heartbeat of America.
Chevrolet announces more Americans going back to work. The new second shift at our Michigan truck plant. They're dedicated to building America's best-built truck, the full-size Chevy truck, an American success story.
Oh, the heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck.
Tomorrow, Jesse Jackson walking a tightrope in this campaign, trying to turn out liberal votes but not turn off conservative Democrats. That story on NBC Nightly News.
Take a look at Shelby's right foot as he touches the bag, how it turns right there. And down he goes, and they were a little bit worried about him.
Shelby up and at him in center field. So it is 2-0 in favor of the Dodgers here in the first inning as Tim Belcher prepares to go to work. Belcher celebrating his 27th birthday today. Needless to say, you know what he wants. And here's the lineup against him. Louis Polonia, Dave Henderson, Jose Canseco, Dave Parker, the DH, Mark McGuire and Carney Lansford, Terry Steinbach behind the plate, Glenn Hubbard and Walt Weiss, the shortstop. Belcher, who was so wild, and the Dodgers felt in the aftermath it wasn't that he was wild because it was the World Series. They felt he was emotionally affected pitching against the Oakland organization. He never played for the A's. We'll see now whether his temperament has calmed down. Young man from Sparta, Ohio. And greeting him would be Louis Polonia to start it off. Then Dave Henderson and Jose Canseco. Hamilton up on the grass at third. Strike, 0-1.
Polonia took a quick look to see where Hamilton was. You saw it as he was getting ready to bat. And Hamilton trying to take that fun away from him by playing in.
Polonia, a fellow who likes to dump the bunt up along third or drag. And he's already succeeded in nothing else of pulling up the corners. Hamilton, even with the bag at third. Stubbs now with 2 strikes is backed up a little at first.
3 for 36. Oh, that hurts.
No balls, 2 strikes. 1 and 2.
I'll tell you one thing, Belcher, just in those few pitches right there, he's been down. In another game he started, he was wild high.
Very tough about him, really. He has a very easy rhythmical delivery. And one of the problems when you watch him pitch, early in the game, you'll see fastballs that are foul back. Then if he begins to aim the ball, all of a sudden, instead of those fastballs being foul back, they're going to be ripped. But he doesn't pitch any differently. At least it doesn't look it unless you really have him under a magnifying glass. Now that's a classic example. Good fastball at the knees. Polonia fouled it back. If he suddenly gets out of sync in the middle of the game, that kind of a pitch could be drilled.
That'll happen. The hitters will tell you when you're losing your stuff, obviously. There's his delivery. It's the last minute. It's like a quick pop. You can see him give it that little extra.
2-2. Fouled away.
Fastball pitchers, you'll see a lot of balls foul back, and really they are easier to tell when they're losing their stuff, because instead of hitting a little bit behind, you're a little bit in front, and you get the base hit or the hard hit ball.
We talked about the first time we saw him that this summer when he got into trouble, it was because he wasn't making a full body turn in the middle of the game. And that's whacked into left center field, base hit. And of course that's exactly what the A's need to recapture a little momentum here after surrendering 2 first-inning runs.
And he's one of the fellows who will run for the A's. Now, it's a 2-0 ball game, but that doesn't mean anything. We're in the bottom of the first. So Socha will have to keep an eye on him.
Polonia, as he stands at first, is a fellow who did so much better at home this year than on the road. I mean, we're talking about 70 points better. So it's no surprise to see him get a base hit. And now here's Dave Henderson. Henderson, 2 for 13, but he has struck out 6 times. Power hitter who pays the bill. There goes Polonia. Hit and run down the line, foul.
Just said in a 2-0 ball game, you would think, well, let Henderson maybe get a swing and maybe tie it up. But in a ball game like this, LaRusse is sending a message back to Lasorda saying, hey, you think you can manufacture runs? I got some guys, not that many, but I'm going to be running too. We're not just going to play station to station and wait for the big guy to hit a 3-run homer.
Interesting, they would play hit and run on the first pitch with a man who has struck out almost half of his at-bats 6 times in 13 trips. And we'll watch Polonia. 0-1 to Dave Henderson. Remember, we also mentioned in the first game the Dodgers were trying to pitch Henderson up and in because of where he holds the bat. See where his hands are. They'd be close to his right hip. And they found that he turns quickly on that pitch. He can handle it. 0-1. Very close.
When you go diving back like that, you got the ultimate lead.
Polonia stole 24 bases during the regular year.
Close.
0-1 to count to Dave Henderson. 2-0 Dodgers, first inning. We're just starting up.
They're going to keep throwing because as Stewart tried to hold that ball on sacks, Belcher's going to throw over there, make Polonia dive back and try to take some of the spring out of his legs.
Interesting. Maybe Oakland will try and do a little mind games business with Belcher as the Dodgers tried to do with Welsh last night. 0-1 to Henderson. Fouled away off to the right, out of play, and the count 0-2. The lights have not taken effect. Brilliant sunshine even at this local hour of coming up 5:45. So it might be a little tough to pick up that good fastball.
You see Socha looking at the bench, see if anybody over there picked up anything.
No balls and 2 strikes. Foul back. So Dave is up there hacking. The count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Polonia at first. Nobody out. And the big guy on deck, Jose Canseco. Must be hard when you're pitching not to keep looking over at Canseco rather than the guy at the plate.
You better make up your mind not to look too often. Okay, he put on an awesome display in batting practice in that special drill that he had.
No balls and 2 strikes. Knocked down, gets behind Socha. Polonia hesitated and then goes anyway.
He wasn't going to go, but Mike took a look at him, and as he took a look, he did not pick up the ball. And it's just a mistake on Socha's part, because if he picks up the ball, Polonia stops. Now, he's not gone. He sees the ball get away. Watch him take some quick steps. He wants to go right here. Now he's up. and he sees Mike can't pick it up, and when Socia doesn't get the handle, he goes in easily.
It'll be a pass ball, and of course it takes away the chance of a double play. Henderson hit into 14 double plays during the year, so he's a threat. So both catchers had trouble. 1 and 2. Little slider away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's been relying on the fastball. He's only thrown a couple breaking balls. That one that Socia couldn't handle was a breaking ball, but if he picks it up immediately, Polonia doesn't go.
2 and 2 to Dave Henderson. And there's a hopper to first. Tricky hop, too. Stubbs did well to come up with that ball. It had some English on it, and it gets Polonia over to third, and here comes Canseco.
He hits the ball off the end of the bat. It's really not a good swing. And when you hit it off the end of the bat, you can see it snake. It starts back, and Stubbs really did a good job coming up with it.
Little pool hall shot there by Henderson as he cued it to first. And now here's Canseco. And I would think, among other things, you're wondering how many scoring fly balls did he have this year. He had a half a dozen. 2-0 Dodgers, first inning. Polonia at third with 1 out. Fisted and into the hole. Over to get it is Sachs and throws him out, but the gift run scores. So it is Christmas Day here at the Coliseum for each team.
That's a pretty good tip-off on the kind of stuff Belcher has to start this game, because Canseco, a fastball hitter, he got that ball inside and just jammed him. He just completely disarmed him.
So the Dodgers, who certainly don't figure to be able to slug with the A's at any time, and especially in a game that sees them without Gibson and Marshall, have already given back one of the 2 presents they received in the first inning. Dave Parker, the hitter. Parker went 3 for 6. You remember those 3 hits against Oral Hershiser. Missed the corner, ball 1.
Here's a guy who gives you a yardstick with hands, Vin. He keeps the hands on the top of the strike zone and tries to hit the ball below his hands, as we look at McGuire, who was last night's hero.
2 balls, no strikes. Belcher took his early exit last time in very good humor. The next day he said, well, all I know is a lot of parties in Sparta were over very early in the evening. Check swing foul, 2-1. You know, in talking about Belcher's early departure, an interesting thought in about the last 33 years, 28 starters in the World Series lasted 2 innings or less. Only 6 of them were ever given a second chance in that series. Belcher's the 7th. One of them was Don Larson, who pitched a perfect game. All 3. So 3-1 to Parker, and Mark McGuire on deck.
I think he's pitching according to the scouting report and really trying to be too fine with Parker.
In there, 3-2.
Parker's not going to get a better pitch than that right there, because right there, Belcher just reared back and pumped it right down the middle.
We'll see if they try to come in on his hands now. 3-2 with a fastball. And they did, and he got around on it to foul it away. Rene Latchman, who in a sense would be violating the rule getting out of the first base coaching box, but with Dave Parker, the hitter, they will allow him that luxury.
You don't want to give Parker any slow stuff. It's all hard stuff, and you get it inside, you tie him up like they did right there. It'd be interesting to watch if Manny Mota's out of that line, because the A's thought he was trying to give some location as he was standing out of the box and towards the field, and that's why they moved him last night.
3-2. Got him. And a pretty good fastball to blow him away. 1 run, 1 hit, and at the end of a wild first inning, 2-1 Dodgers.
Read any good beer bottles lately? This one tells you that Miller Genuine Draft is the one beer that's cold filtered, not heat pasteurized. So we haven't changed the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer. And you know what's the best thing about reading this bottle? it leads to a very happy ending.
It's Chevy versus Ford, compact and full-size pickups in a test of standard four-wheel drive systems. They start in two-wheel drive, but they're going to have to shift into four-wheel to make it across the ditch of doom. The Chevy shift and keep going, but the Ford drivers have to stop and lock hubs. Why is America having a change of heart in pickups? Chevy gives you standard shift-on-the-fly Insta-Track. Ford doesn't.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck.
AT&T has just made Watts a whole new ballgame for any size business. Pick from a lineup of plans that give you call detail, distance-sensitive pricing, and major league discounts, even on international and AT&T card calls. If you thought AT&T Watts had just one pitch, now it's a whole new ballgame.
The product, the vehicles, the testing grounds, the results. STP oil treatment is the edge. To tackle all this and more, Texas Steer insulated work boots in regular width, wide width, and nubuck leather. Just $29, on sale now at Kmart.
Thursday on Cosby, Rudy's having an all-night sleepover. Can Dad handle it alone?
No, you can't leave.
Hey, please don't make that face.
Thursday.
Danny Heap, followed by Jeff Hamilton, then Alfredo Griffin. You hear about a guy being born to the job. If your name is Danny Heap, your initials are perfect for the job. He's the DH tonight. Danny has not been a successful pinch hitter, and the Dodgers hoping he'll do something in this role. Strike. Remember, we mentioned that he was one of the hitters who would take a strike on Stewart, though he fouled one off and then took one. 0-2. And promptly bangs it up the middle. So Danny Heap, a line drive single to center, and the batter will be Jeff Hamilton. No, you have a tendency around the fourth game of a World Series to say that it is starting to heat up. But this one started right at the outset. Remember, in game one, Canseco was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Sachs was hit in the bottom of the first. There was a balk. I mean, we were off and running right after the anthem.
That was a high fastball with 2 strikes. I don't think Danny Heap could spot Stewart 2 strikes, and Stewart tried to waste one and got it in the strike zone, and Danny was ready for him.
Hamilton has been very quiet, both in the LCS and in the series. He started off very slowly in the LCS and then picked up the tempo a little bit. He hit safely in his last 3. The Dodgers are hoping that after a slow start in the World Series, he'll do the same thing.
There's the chart on Hamilton. As you can see, he pulled everything, jumped on the first pitch here to try to pull it. And I'll tell you, the defense pretty much straight away. They don't believe he's pulled that much. Your key always is the center fielder and your shortstop.
No balls, 1 strike. 1-1. The Dodgers would play hit and run with Hamilton. A lot of reasons. One of them, he hates to take pitches anyway. He only walked 10 times during the entire year. So we'll watch and see if Lasorda tries to force a play again.
You know, if Lasorda had a plan to make him take, then you would think that the 8th and 9th place hitters would be the guys that he would just say, hey, take a strike.
I don't really know what his plan is tonight, because I've never seen him with a team with less firing power than this one.
I don't think he has either.
No. 1 ball, 1 strike. And there they go on a pitch out that was really a hit and run play. A high throw, got him anyway.
Danny Heap broke far too soon. He really gave it away, although the A's had it read all the way. There was nothing Hamilton can do to try to protect him. But you could see Heap really break early. And look how fast he got out there. And there was nothing Hamilton could do. The throw was not what you would call a playbook throw, but Danny Heap's an easy out because the ball's there in plenty of time, even though it was high. He had to wait for him.
Well, Weiss made a good play to go up the ladder to get it and make the tag. Now they can concentrate on Hamilton, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That play was bad from the beginning. He broke too soon. The pitch out was too high. The catcher's throw was too high. The shortstop made a good play by making the tag.
2-2 to Hamilton. Fastball and a little fly ball into shallow right center. Here comes Henderson. Boy, he's a big man, but he can move.
Looks like he hit that ball right on the handle, and when you take a big swing, sometimes it's deceiving, especially this time of the day. Henderson makes a good play. There's that play again. Now it's way outside. Now look at the throw. Weiss really does a good job concentrating on catching the ball first and then making the tag. If he takes his eye off to look for the runner, he's going to drop it.
Alfredo Griffin, the batter, with 2 out. First ball swinging. That really absolutely flabbergasted me. Well, I have nothing else to say. I rest my case, Your Honor.
When you think that they're going to be making him pitch, and then that happens.
No runs, a hit, nobody left. 2-1 Dodgers.
My brother just did something very smart.
Very smart.
He got this amazing new picture-in-picture TV.
Yep, Magnavox did it again.
Now we could watch 2 shows at once, so we never fight over the TV anymore.
We never fight anymore.
We could watch one show and preview another.
We can even reverse the picture.
How smart of Tom to get a TV this smart.
How smart of him to say how smart I are.
How smart I are?
Him too.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart.
New Tartar Control Aquafresh will knock you over. It reduces ugly tartar and more. It also helps remove plaque, fights cavities, and tastes great. New Tartar Control Aquafresh.
Hey, Professor. I thought only students fell asleep in your class. They're just trying to get these finals graded. You ought to revive with Vivarin. Oh, Vivarin helps wake you up.
Government-appointed experts confirm Vivarin is effective.
Revive with Vivarin.
It's the trestle of terror, ladies and gentlemen. Chevy versus Ford going over 8-inch high landmines in a test of 4x4 ground clearance. The full-size Chevy clears the mines front and rear. The Ford clears up front, but it's too low in back. In 4-wheel drive ground clearance, Chevy beats Ford. No wonder, when it comes to pickups, America's having a change of heart.
The heartbeat of America. That's the day Chevy truck.
If you think I look good in this Van Heusen, you should see Jeffrey. After all, it's his shirt.
Van Heusen, for a man to wear and a woman to borrow.
The Delta faucet. When it's on, it's on. And when it's off, it's off. The washerless design makes it last and last. Delta faucet. We're first because we last.
Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Oilers battle the Bengals.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL Live.
A reminder, tomorrow night at 8, The Cosby Show, followed by Game 5, except on the West Coast, where The Cosby Show will be seen following the game. Mark McGwire, Carney Lansford, and Terry Steinbach in that order. Bottom of the second inning. Dodgers 2, A's 1. Big rip. Amazing how many fastballs Mark McGwire is getting. And last night, I think in his own words, he had gotten 7
of them.
And then jerked one out to win the game.
You know, that's changed. I remember in the game against the Mets, they threw, Holton was throwing, I think, 7 curveballs there. I asked Socha, don't you feel like you have to break that up, like 7 fastballs, even bounce a curveball up to McGwire? He just felt that's what we could get him out on.
Watch this now. He's got no balls and 2 strikes. We'll see if they bounce a curveball up there.
I would think he'd have to throw a curveball here just to get him into the groove of throwing a curveball. He hasn't thrown that many breaking balls at all.
Fastball fouled away. So they stand with the Swift.
You never know what a pitcher has until you're in the game. He could warm up and give you good stuff on the sidelines and not have it in the game. There are more pitchers sent to the showers by bad pitch selection than opposing bats.
0-2 the count to Mark McGwire. And got him looking, and you know what it must be? McGuire saying they're giving me so many fastballs, I know they've got to throw me a curve, and the Dodgers are saying he's thinking that way, we'll stay with the fastball.
That may be. I kind of doubt it. What he did there was just make a perfect pitch on the outside corner because 2 strikes, that's just a perfect pitch. Just to elaborate on that is because on the other thing I said, Ben, on pitch selection, you have to find the pitcher's best pitch that day.
1 ball and no strikes.
Now, if it is his fastball, you do have to occasionally advertise a curveball to show him that he's got it.
1 ball, no strikes. That'll even it up. When you talk about Belcher, basically a fastballer, and he can throw a cut fastball and a splitter, and he's been working on that curveball all year, so he probably still is not too confident about it.
He's got to use that splitter.
2-1. Carney Lansford, very aggressive hitter, and what we've seen, basically a high ball hitter. Missed down and away. So behind to Lansford, 3-1, and on deck, Terry Steinbach.
You would think when you're in the World Series you're as sharp as you can get, but Lansford, he still goes beyond the center field fence and works in the cage before the game.
And he lifts one near the bag at second. Sachs will take charge. 2 down in the 2nd inning. And that'll bring up Steinbach. By the way, according to the gun, Lansford was pretty much jammed. He didn't get around on that, but there was very good reason. That was smoking at 94.
I'd like to see that gun. I think it's a fast gun. I really do. 94. That's a lot of speed.
He's capable of doing it.
He's capable of doing it, but I don't think that was 94. There are some guns that vary.
1 ball and no strikes to Terry Steinbach. Mike Brito with that Hillerick and Bradsby he smokes with the speed gun.
There was a splitter. Didn't split, but that was it. That was not the fastball. Steinbach likes the ball up out over the plate. That's where that one was. The breaking pitch. Belcher doesn't have that good a curveball. Try to jam him. Again, if you had one simple thing for Oakland, first ball fastball hitters.
Now behind 3-0 to Steinbach. During the regular year, he had 9 home runs, in case you're thinking about him getting a green light, with Hubbard to follow. Struck out a little bit more than he walked. Remember, he hit that home run in the All-Star game against Dwight Gooden. 3-1.
He didn't have much of an average going in there at 217, and I like what he said as we look at Tony La Russa. He said, hey, I'm no fluke, and Steinbach is not a fluke.
3 balls and 1 strike. 2 out, bases empty. Dodgers 2, A's 1, bottom of the 2nd inning. Darrell Cousins of the American League calling balls and strikes. Crawford, McCoy, and Harvey on the bases. Fremming and Merrill on the line. 3-2. Got him. So that's the 3rd strikeout for Belcher, who can bring it with the best of them. At the end of 2, it's 2-1 Dodgers. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
The most unusual crimes, the most unusual heroes, the most unusual show of the new season.
You've never seen anything like it.
Premiering Friday, Something is Out There.
At PG&E, we have some very special programs for our low-income and elderly customers.
Hello, Mrs. Main.
Yes?
I'm here to check on your new insulation.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's up in the attic.
Come on in.
Working with qualified contractors and community agencies, PG&E helps families in need by weatherizing their houses for free.
Thank you.
It's really comfortable.
That's PG&E.
They're a good group, you know.
Now more than ever, at your service.
Today it seems young parents have less time and a lot more to worry about. If I were a young father today, I'd want to know that my government wasn't blind to the changes in my life. I'd want my new president to be in touch with the things that are important to me and to my family. That's not a Democratic concern. It's not a Republican concern. That's a father's concern.
At UPS, we're changing the look of the international delivery business. Because now, UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge. An accomplishment we feel deserves a little flag waving. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
60s radio comes back to life Saturday after Saturday Night Live. The 1988 World Series is brought to you by Buick and your Buick dealer. The great American road belongs to Buick. And by Allied Van Lines, the one America trusts.
A beautiful shot from the Goodyear Blimp Columbia from Los Angeles, piloted by Captain Charles Russell from Downey, California. It's been 17 years since the Goodyear Blimp covered the first World Series night game in the Baltimore-Pittsburgh series. Steve Sax, followed by Franklin Stubbs, and then Mickey Hatcher. Sax, you remember, opened up the ball game and walked on a 3-2 pitch, scored on a pass ball, fouled away. 0-1.
If Lasorda's plan was to make him pitch and take strikes, it's just gone out the window the last 3 hitters. There he is right there, and I don't think he's too happy about it. He needs base runners, and they're going up hacking. Hamilton, 8th, Griffith, 9th, first pitch, Sachs, first pitch.
0-1. It's a terrible thing to say, but imagine walking away from this game with the memory of all Alfredo Griffin swinging at the first pitch. That's the most improbable thing we've seen tonight. 1-1. Ball 2.
Vin, we talked about Manny Mota being out of the coach's box, and he's just barely legal. He's got 1 foot on the coach's box, and that's what La Russa was objecting about. He said he's looking in and giving him location. If nothing else, he's playing irritant.
Fouled away. Borderline pitch that time. Sachs decided it was too close to the strike zone, so he took a hack, and the count 2-2. Dodgers 2 runs, 2 hits. A's 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error. We've had a pass ball on each side. Chopper charging Weiss. Big play. He's done it again. Boy, has that kid put on a show.
His reaction time is just amazing. He makes that decision right now, and he was going to get that ball so he wouldn't short hop it. He breaks, and he's going to get it on the big hop. He does right there.
You know, and he went to school at the University of North Carolina. 2 of his teammates were B.J. Surhoff and Scott Bankhead. They both went to the 1984 Olympic team. And, of course, here he is playing in the World Series. And what a series he's had. Walt Weiss. Remember, Stubbs hit a fastball and rang it like a bell right at Canseco. So Stewart that time came back off speed, and Franklin almost came out from under his helmet. 1-1. A low ball fastball hitter. And he drives this one to right center. Henderson going back. It's over his head and against the wall. Stubbs on his way for 2 and has a stand-up double.
See, he's been getting that fastball ahead, and Franklin has been jumping all over it. He's hit the ball hard twice, and that ball looked like a high fastball, and boom, you saw what he did with it.
Stewart had come in with a good change, but followed right there with that fastball.
Stayed right with it. You could see those eyes. I'd be willing to bet if you asked him, he said, yes, I did see that ball in bat meat.
Hatcher single to right. Remember, a key hit and run play. It set up 1, and then he came around to score. And he pops it in the air on the first pitch. Polonia.
Henderson right there talking to him, too.
And coming up now will be Mike Davis. It's interesting when you just look at the 2 lineups. Henderson had 24 home runs during the regular year, and he's hitting in the number 2 slot. Stubbs in the number 2 slot for the Dodgers had 8. Then you get down to the number 3 slot. Jose Canseco had 42.
That's unfair, man.
And Hatcher had 1.
That's unfair.
And then you want to draw cleanup? Line drive off Weiss's glove, I believe. I think he should have caught that ball, and the run is in.
He nonchalanted that ball. He thought he had it all away, and he knows it. He did not concentrate on that ball. He's going to make the one-hand grab, and he got burned. He knows it.
The Dodgers know they've got to run to lead 3-1.
And the gift packages keep arriving. That ball was hit hard, no question about it, but he's right there. I mean, he doesn't have to jump or anything. Just barely has to get up, and he should have had that ball.
It's going to be an error charge to Weiss, and isn't that the life of the ball player, though? He just makes a fine play on Steve Sax, and that look on his face told it all. But you talk about peaks and valleys.
And he knows it. Davis really goes with the pitch. It's outside, hits it hard. But he's right there, just didn't catch it. And La Russa out there talking to his pitcher, just kind of settling him down and say, hey, look, things are happening, but we're going to be all right. That picture really says it all right there.
So the Dodgers lead 3-1 in the 3rd inning. And John Shelby coming up. Shelby slammed the ball off Stewart's glove, deflected to Hubbard, who threw him out, and on the play, Hatcher scored. John almost broke his leg. He did pick up an RBI.
Tell you, they about had him. They about had Mike Davis. He was leaning.
He's a pretty good base runner. He's stolen 7 out of 10, but the combination of inactivity, plus he's not that familiar with Stewart's move.
He wants to make that impression. He wants to try to erase the year that he's had in this series, and he's going to try everything.
Shelby hits a high drive into left center, but Henderson is there. So the Dodgers get a run on a hit and an error. Leave a man, and it is 3-1 Dodgers, bottom of the 3rd.
Isn't this romantic?
Right now, the only thing that would taste better than a nice cold one is a cold filter one.
Can you draft anymore?
Because if you want a beer whose rich, smooth draft taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, we've got it down cold. Cold filtered, more genuine draft. It's as real as beer gets.
Choose to make a difference.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
Every time you reach for MasterCard from now through December, we'll donate money to 6 worthy causes, and you can help choose where the money goes.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand.
Choose to make a difference. Choose MasterCard.
I don't want to move.
I like people that you trust.
Why not? You won't know anyone.
Making new friends is easy.
No, it isn't.
Sure it is.
Not for me.
You made one already.
Who?
Me.
They're one in a million, they're one of a kind. They're the one America trusts. They're allied and line.
Friends.
Friends.
Tuesday, the show People magazine calls the steamy, stylish, sexy, sassy, sizzling new series of the season. It's Midnight Caller, premiering Tuesday.
Walt Weiss is the second hitter. Watch Bob Watson, the coach, give him that little tap as and say, come on, forget about it, get a base hit. That's a little tough to do.
He went to Suffer in high school, and that's exactly what he's doing, even though it doesn't spell the same way.
Oh, okay.
Hubbard, Weiss, and Polonia. 3-1 Dodgers here in the third inning. Hubbard 3 for 9. He's having a good series.
I'll tell you, even before Weiss gets in the batter's box, if I'm Weiss, I'm going to bunt and try to beat it out. Hubbard on or Hubbard not on. Just as shown that I'm going back to my game and I'm going to get on base. See what happens.
Balls, 1 strike, the count to Glenn Hubbard. That was a cut fastball, just ran away. 1-1. Tim Belcher in the bottom of the third, leading 3-1. He went 2 innings in game 1. 1-2.
Getting a lot of ball players. La Russa is one of them. Belcher's another one. That 1 cap a year school. They just put that thing on opening day and that's it. They're superstitious about it.
1-2 to Glenn. Now back. Always admired Hubbard back in, well, 10 years ago when he first came up with the Atlanta Braves. Just the kind of a scrapper, a little guy playing with the big guys. And it's no surprise that he's hitting .333 in the World Series right now.
The thing about baseball, it's not how big you are.
Off speed.
Whoa,
got him.
There was the best breaking ball he threw. Right there. Not only did it break big, he changed speeds, and he just... Hubbard could do nothing but just do what he did. Shake his head and say, why me does he have to make that pitch? Watch it. Look at Sochi set up outside. He takes something off, and look at it break down. Tough pitch.
Yeah, that's $1 million pitch to wrap up Hubbard. It's also the 4th strikeout for Tim Belcher, who struck out 8 in a game 3 times this year. Now here's Weiss. Let's see if he lays a little angry on the ball or what. He'll look at a strike.
Stubbs is playing pretty far back, man, for a guy who's known to bunt. That's the scouting report on him. He can bunt either way. If he drags it past Belcher, if he can walk down it.
No balls, 1 strike. Of course, you know, in talking about Alfredo Griffin swinging at the first pitch, how about last night when the tiebreaker was at first, nobody out, bottom of the 8th, and Walt Weiss swung away and hit a fly ball.
I asked La Russa about that. He said Hasse is one of the toughest base runners to get to second base, and during the season what we want to do is let him swing at the first pitch, but it's got to be from the middle of the plate in, and even if he fouls it off, then that pulls the infielders in on the corners, and what he did is swing at a pitch that was really not from the middle of the plate in and popped it up, and of course there goes all your strategy.
2-1. Fisted foul off third, down the line, out of play.
And I listened to all that and I said, Tony, Uncle Al Lopez down in Tampa, who's your good friend and mentor, would say, Tony, got a bunt.
You know, someone was saying, La Russa said Weiss is great at handling that high fastball up the middle. And I know a Dodger who said, well, then why doesn't he do it all year? Just off the corner, ball 3. We've got 1 out in the third. Dodgers 3, A's 1. Walt trying to get aboard, working on a full count. Hits it down the left field line, peeling foul, and out of play. You know, we still have a couple of things alive. The A's here in the Coliseum, they've won 6 straight World Series games. But even more importantly is a definite trend. It can't be a coincidence anymore. We have had 13 consecutive victories by the home team in the World Series. County, that was last night. 3-2. Fouled away. Now you say, well, 13 straight, that's a big deal. But it is a big deal because over the years in the history of the World Series, the home team won 54%. In other words, barely break even, just a little more. And now suddenly 13 in a row. So it has to be the DH advantage in the American League Park and without it in the National League Park to keep that home streak going. Line drive at Stubbs. He picked it off before it hit the ground. Jerry Crawford right there to call it. That's the second good play Stubbs has made. He made one on the ball Henderson cued his way, and now on this one.
Look, he even broke a little bit late, but it's on that glove side, so he gets a break. And he makes a good play, and he shows the umpire, hey, I got it. he did break late. Being the left-handed thrower, the edge was being the glove on the right hand.
8 in a row retired by Belcher now since the leadoff single by Louis Polonia. And here's the man himself. Louis single to left, took second on a pass ball, and eventually came around on a couple of ground balls.
It was a split finger that just stayed up there.
One ball, one strike. You talk about the Oakland A's and you think of the big guys, and everyone talks about the Canseco's and the Parkers, but how about the little big oaks, the little men who make tremendous contributions? Here they are.
They're really in danger, though, if a fight breaks out, because the other team will be looking for these guys.
One ball and one strike. Ball 2, 2-1. Dodgers 3, A's 1. Bottom of the third, 2 out. Tell you one thing, Belcher has that very good, easy rhythm that he didn't have in his first game.
And when he was struggling, he was up, up, up. Tonight, he started in pretty close to the strike zone. He's been down. He has had some pitches up, but for the most part, he's been down with them.
Deuce is wild on Polonia, who wears number 22. And we go full. Dodgers scored 2 in the first. The A's came right back with 1. The Dodgers added 1 in the third, and that's it. On deck, Dave Henderson. Got him. And that's 9 in a row. 5 strikeouts for Belcher. At the end of 3, 3-1 Dodgers.
How will you live in the next century? Suddenly, life will be more comfortable, smoother, and quicker. Introducing the new 1989 Buick Century with premium features you expect from the best-selling Buick on the American road. All at a price that will let you enter the next century very comfortably.
The great American road belongs to Buick.
No, take the last one. I can make another batch.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. You can whip up a chewy no-bake batch in minutes. However, nobody has to know that but you.
I know how you love them, so I don't mind the work.
Besides, Rice Krispies Treats certainly taste like somebody slaved over them.
Really? It's no bother.
Rice Krispies Treats. So good, it's hard to believe how easy they are.
It's worth any amount of trouble, as long as it makes you happy.
You gotta stop and taste the high life. Stop and taste the high life. Spend some time just finding out what you're working for, what it's all about.
Miller High Life, brewed to be smooth, never bitter. Takes time to make, time to enjoy.
Stop and taste the high life.
Miller High Life.
Whatever you want to lock in, lock out, lock up, or lock down, remember, Master locks are tough under tough conditions, tough under pressure, tough under fire.
And now, Dexter by Master Lock. Door hardware that's as tough as it is beautiful.
Devil, lust, and greed.
Geraldo Rivera takes you inside the frightening world of devil worship. Tuesday.
Mike Scioscia, to start it off, takes a strike in the 4th inning, with the Dodgers leading the A's 3-1. Scioscia flied to center in the 1st inning. One surprise, and I don't know whether he's fallen into the bad habit as he strokes one into right field for a base hit. Scioscia had not hit a ground ball in the series, and that's unlike him. That would be his 13th at bat. And he had 9 balls hit in the air and 2 strikeouts. And when there's such a severe trend, you're wondering about an uppercut. But he just laid the bat on that pitch. And as you can see, Kurt Young going down to the bullpen to begin loosening up. The Dodgers with 4 hits against Stewart, leading 3-1. And here's Heap. Ball 1. They might very well have had Heap going up there to take a pitch. A veteran hitter who singled to center in the 2nd inning and was thrown out, remember. Despite a high throw, it was a fine catch and tag by Walt Weiss. No speed at all here for the Dodgers. No weapon there with Scioscia at first and Heap at the plate.
Danny Heap, when you back out the batter's box, that says to the coach, I'm not sure of that sign. Give it to me again if there is a sign, or he can decoy, but he's asking him to go through the routine.
Went after a pitch up, fouled it back, 1-1. When you were playing, what was your sign that you didn't get the sign? Would you please repeat it? What'd you do?
There were 3 different things. Backing out of the box, rubbing across always meant no, or just stepping out and grabbing a handful of dirt that said, hey, give it to me again.
Probably hasn't changed that much.
No, when he backed out, that's what Joey Malfitano did at 3rd.
2 balls and 1 strike. Where Belcher is throwing harder and looser, Stewart doesn't look the same tonight. And remember, he went 8 innings and walked only 2. He doesn't have quite the velocity or location, at least in the early inning. 2-1. And he's behind again now, ball 3.
He's not relying on that good fastball is what's happening. He's trying to finesse it, and he is a good pitcher. You win that many games, you have to be, but he's not rearing back and doing it with the pitch that got him to that plateau.
At first I thought, well, maybe it's early and the lights haven't taken effect, but now I firmly believe he's not throwing that hard. There goes Scioscia, and it's a strike, and somebody missed something there.
You can see Amalfitano just standing there.
And Scioscia hurt his ankle. It is not the foot or ankle with the orthopedic shoe. It's the other one. Danny Heap takes a 3-1 pitch, and it might cost the Dodgers a catcher. And they've already lost Gibson and Marshall.
3-1, it's an automatic hit. I mean, unless they give you a take sign. So if you don't see the take sign and you get a hit and run sign, I mean, it's just a real bad play on the part of Danny Heap, because you're not going to have Scioscia with the straight steal. Once again, you saw Shelby just barely escape injury, but Scioscia looks like he's really hurting. I tell you, I said to Fred Clare before the game, I said, are you going to have enough for the team picture? And he said, I don't know. And look at here.
Well, Danny Heap, who has to feel more than just embarrassed and mortified, promptly bangs it to center, and it's hooking, and Henderson stays with it. Boy, did he hit that hard, but the damage was done because he didn't swing. And you can see Dempsey turning his cap around. He's going to have to go to work, and that takes away a great deal from the Dodgers now.
You could see Scioscia looking to see what happened, and oh, he really jammed it when he went into that bag. He was looking back because it was a hit-and-run play, and he just went into that base very hard.
So you talk about an expensive mistake. Danny Heap really made one.
So that was a perfect shot of a guy looking back on the hit-and-run play to see where the ball was hit.
And that's hammered over Weiss into left center, but the Dodgers have made perhaps 2 big ones. We know Heap made a mistake. Now they might have lost Scioscia, and Hamilton gets a single, and you can see Scioscia can't even stand. And Dempsey's going to have to take over. Well, you talk about a costly mistake. That's really paying a price. So it is Stewart who is leading the charmed life for the moment. They're hitting him hard. He's allowed 5 hits. But the Dodgers have played poorly offensively, and they've really paid for it. Here is Alfredo Griffin. Ball 1.
If he hits the ball in the air, and then you know Scioscia's not going to slide, but missing it, he knows he's in no man's country, and he really got close to that bag. That's what hurt right there.
But to take it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, if he hits the ground ball, Scioscia's still going to slide, but he hears the ball and sees the ball hit.
1-1 to count. I've been waiting for Alfredo Griffin to bunt on every pitch. He's had that bad a year. I asked him before the ball game. I said, if I say to you Oakland Coliseum, what comes to mind? He said nothing. I said, what do you mean nothing? He said, my mind is a blank. I said, oh, come on, you played here a couple of years. Think of something. And he finally said, well, I hit a home run against Brett Saberhagen here once.
Let me tell you, that should work with him. There you see it. And I mean, right there, he was close. He didn't even get the right leg. It kind of stopped. I wonder if it's his ankle or his knee, Vin. As I look at that, it looks like his knee, because his slide stopped.
Little foul off to the left and out of play.
One of the great speeches that the great Branch Rickey used to give would always be, don't think when you go to hit. Full mind, empty bat. That's the way he would always say it. If you got an empty mind, your bat should be full.
But supposing the bat's empty, too.
That's what I'm saying. He's going against it.
You're really in trouble.
If you're thinking too much, full mind, empty bat. If you got empty mind, should be full bat, but he defies that law.
1-2 to Alfredo Griffin. 2 out in the 4th. 3-1 Dodgers. Foul ball. Rick Dempsey, who was the most valuable player in the 1983 World Series, who begged the Dodgers to give him a look at Vero Beach, will now be the catcher. And the way Scioscia left, it's questionable that Scioscia could play tomorrow. So the Dodgers short enough, and they are really short. 1-2. 2-2. You figure you're not going to see Tudor anymore. You might not see Scioscia. If Marshall can't play in the World Series, he's got to really be hurting, and Gibson can't play. Belcher and Dempsey, who are very close buddies, are now thrown together because of fate. They live close enough to share rides to the ballpark in Southern California. Stewart goes 3-2 to Griffin.
I don't think they'll have any problem working together for that very reason, Ben. I know that it was Dempsey who kind of guided Belcher.
They're very close.
How to act at the World Series.
3-2, so Hamilton will be going, although that's not a big threat. Line drive at McGuire. So the Dodgers really messed up the 4th inning offensively and come up empty and lose a catcher along the way.
Superstar athlete with a beauty queen wife.
I just want to be yours, Kevin.
Thousands cheered him on.
I'm special just as long as I keep making touchdowns.
But his toughest challenge would come when his football days were over.
You're killing me, Babs.
From Taylor Hackford, director of An Officer and a Gentleman, Jessica Lange, Dennis Quaid, Timothy Hutton, everybody's All-American, rated R. Starts Friday, November 4th at a theater near you.
You hear the thunder, the call of the road.
There is still an affordable car that's exciting to drive. Pontiac Le Mans. There is still an affordable car that comes well equipped right from the start. Pontiac Le Mans. In fact, Le Mans is backed by our new 3-year, 50,000-mile bumper-to-bumper plus warranty. And if you're a qualified first-time new car buyer, you can still get one for just $57.99. Pontiac Le Mans.
Pontiac. We build excitement, man.
Now, MCI gives every business what it's always wanted, the world. Because now anywhere in the world you can dial direct, you can dial with MCI. All with unsurpassed quality, and all for up to 22% less than AT&T. At MCI, we don't just promise you the world, we give it to you for less. Until you call, you'll never know how much better a long-distance company can be.
Good evening, Mr. Thatcher.
It's got to be on one of two continents.
I'm a man.
No,
unbelievable.
Tattinger. Coming October 26th.
Quite a story unfolding now as Mike Scioscia leaves the field and Rick Dempsey will take over. Every manager hates to change catchers, especially when a pitcher is on a roll, and Belcher's on a roll. He'd retired 9 in a row and struck out 5. And an even more important question might be popping up in your mind if Scioscia cannot come back. Henderson, Canseco, and Parker coming up in the 4th inning. Dodgers 3, A's 1. Fouled away. The question is, if Scioscia is injured, can he be replaced? And the answer is no.
I think that rule really needs to be looked into, because I don't know of any club that would not want to play the other club in the World Series at full strength. If it's a legitimate injury, then I think they ought to be able to replace the player. Now, if it's going to be like the DL, which is the most manipulated rule I've ever seen, I mean, managers have a tough time deciding whether it's a 15-day or a 21-day DL, then I say no. But if it's a legitimate injury, you got to have your best. You got to give the other guy a chance.
No balls and 2 strikes to count to Dave Henderson. Belcher with 5 strikeouts. Still 0-2. The rule was put in naturally to prevent cheating, to prevent chicanery of any kind. But when you see a man obviously injured in an obvious play, if he is not replaced, the Dodgers could conceivably, remember, Lasorda started with 24. He's down to 20. That is some advantage for the A's. Plus, with 1 catcher, there's no way he can put in a pinch runner for him. And supposing Dempsey sticks a finger in a foul ball. 1-1.
It definitely is a rule that needs looking into. But I think like the DL, there were times it was a joke. I mean, blisters, hangnails, just so they want to make roster moves. That shouldn't be.
Line drive right over the shoulder of Belcher. Now, sure, it's probably coincidental, but the Dodgers have to change catchers, and suddenly 9 in a row. That's broken on a hard single by Henderson, and here comes a guy who can get the A's even with 1 swing.
Here's a pitch that our crew downstairs saw something. Bottom of the 2nd. Now watch Scioscia. Hey, he was limping up as he got out of there, but you wonder if it, because he was down in the crouch, but it may have been a tip-off.
Canseco jammed in the 1st inning, rolled out to Sachs. 0-1. Stubbs now trying to break the crowd for the moment and get back and get Belcher into sync, as well as talk about coming over to first base.
Dempsey was looking over towards the bench, and somebody hollered something, and Stubbs went in. That's something they did not do at Dodger Stadium when Belcher was in trouble. Nobody went out to see him. He was really the lonesome man.
Henderson stole only 2 bases during the year, and you wouldn't expect him to be gambling since Canseco is the tying run. 2 balls and no strikes. Behind, and the whole rhythm of his game has been broken. 3-0. And Dempsey said, I got to talk to him. I got to somehow change him back to the way he was before I went behind the plate.
You really don't have any strategy to talk about. You're just trying to break a mood is what you're trying to do as we look at La Russa and Lasorda. Tough to change catchers. It really is. You're working nicely. It's like tongue and groove for a carpenter. And all of a sudden, the least little thing, and it can really work against you.
3-0. And he walked him. The tying runs are aboard with nobody out. That's Joe Ferguson standing next to Tommy Lasorda. And that's Ron Perranoski going out to the mound. The big thing that Perranoski wants to caution Belcher about is don't get to aiming the ball. That's when he really gets hurt. And if you aim one with Parker up there, the A's would be ahead as Leary goes down to the bullpen.
You always worry about that first pitch after the base on balls. You want to just make sure you get it over for a strike with not too much on it, and you're going to be in trouble. He's going to have to really rear back and let it fly free and easy.
Now the book is to jam Parker. But if you don't jam him, he'll jam you. And he's got Henderson at second, Canseco at first, nobody out. And he worked him away.
I'll tell you one difference. You can remember when Socia was catching, he was always giving the target down.
Belcher is in trouble. And down in the bullpen, Brian Holton gets up to throw back of him. He's lost his rhythm. That's a strike. 1-1.
Get that ball up a little bit, and that is really in Parker's power. Jam him. Don't give him any off-speed stuff where he can pull it.
3-1 Dodgers, bottom of the fourth. A's in business, first and second, nobody out. 1-2. Canseco standing at first, Henderson at second. And where Canseco is a marvelous base runner, Henderson is not. The Cobra played in the '79 series for the Bucks. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Worked him away again, so that's twice at 4 pitches where you stayed away. Mark McGwire, who follows Parker, on deck. Two balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Griffin trying to bird dog Henderson at second. And Parker backing out. No pitch. You wonder, why does the batter get his request granted immediately on time, and it's for safety? Oh, sure, it's unfair that the pitcher might have time called just as he's ready to deliver the ball. But for safety reasons, if the batter says time, he's gotten it. 2-2. Got him.
Split finger.
6 strikeouts, and the Cobra goes back in the basket. 1 out. And you could see Lasorda say that's a big out.
Mark McGwire.
Watch the rotation on this ball, and you can see it. There it was. Look at those fingers spread, and that rotation tells you it's a split finger, and it was in a great spot, and he was way out in front.
The camera shows you that split finger that tumbles, which is the one that Belcher has. The one that Leary throws is like a hard sinker fastball. McGwire fouls it away. 0-1.
That was another one. You could see it break down. McGwire hit a lot of first pitch home runs last year, and even his coach Lefebvre says those were those kind of get him over for a strike fastballs, and he jumped on them. Now this year they're challenging him from the start, and he's not getting that BP fastball to start him off to get ahead of him.
0-1 to Mark. Henderson at second, Canseco at first. 1 out in the fourth. Dodgers 3, A's 1. Fastball popped up into right center. Shelby is calling. He's the captain out there. The runners have to hold. So 2 down in the 4th inning. And another dangerous hitter coming up, Carney Lansford. Everyone tells you about Lansford. They always say, watch out for the first pitch. And immediately Belcher is met at the mound by Dempsey, perhaps to remind him of just that. Don't get careless. Don't just try to get a front and get ahead of him. He's liable to take your head off on that first pitch.
Well, one of the things when you get the two big guys like he just got, Parker and McGuire, after the first two get on, you almost breathe a sigh of relief. And what Dempsey is reminding him, hey, we got one more out to get. And he goes over the thing saying this is the first ball fastball hitter. So we're going to throw that fastball. Here's where I want it, and keep the good stuff on it.
2 on, 2 out, 4th inning, 3-1 Dodgers. 4-1. Terry Steinbach on deck. In the inning, Henderson was 0-2, fought his way back and singled to center, and then Canseco walked. Parker struck out. McGuire flied to center. Breaking ball and a one-hopper, tricky, and played by Stubbs. Another pool hall shot. And it's the third good play that Franklin Stubbs has made, and Belcher's out of the jam. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Next Wednesday, it's Night Court's new night. Is Dan really dead, or is it just a snow job?
What did I do to deserve this?
It's the season premiere. Don't answer that. Next Wednesday.
Oh, give me land, lots of land under sunny skies above. Don't fence me in.
Now UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge.
Don't fence me in.
UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Last year, 60% of all suspects arrested had organized crime ties. Why do they keep wearing those ties?
Don Amici, Joe Mantegna. One of these men is going to pose as a mafia boss.
I do it.
Nobody is to know that Mr. Johnson is here.
A good friend of ours from Chicago, Mr. Johnson, will you please stand up?
It's a hilarious look at disorganized crime.
I'm gonna hotwire the car. How do you hotwire the car?
Things change.
Just when things were going so well.
Rated PG. Starts Friday at select theaters.
On an August day in 1988, an historic event took place. It didn't happen on Main Street or in any American town, but in Russia, where soldiers began destroying hundreds of nuclear missiles with the understanding that we'd destroy some of our own. The first disarmament treaty of its kind. And though most Americans were unaware of the significance of the moment or realized it was George Bush who led the way, someday their grandchildren will.
Borderline, tonight after baseball on Channel 4.
It is simply recorded in the scoring book, 3 unassisted. Oh, yeah?
This ball really acts like a curveball from a right-hander in the dirt. Watch it bounce the opposite way to his right. That was not an easy play by any means. When that ball hits the dirt off the end of the bat like that, it always bounces the opposite way. And I tell you, Stubbs has done a good job, Vin.
That's 3 good plays to bail out Tim Belcher. And we move on to the 5th inning. 3-1 Dodgers. It'll be Sachs, Stubbs, and Hatcher. Kurt Young is up for the second time in the A's bullpen. Sachs walked, grounded out. There's Kurt.
Mike Scioscia, the report, a twisted right knee. That slide, remember we talked about how his right knee just kind of stopped and never did carry, and that's what he has.
Dr. Frank Jobe left his seat, orthopedic surgeon, and I'm sure you've heard that name if you're a baseball fan. So it's Dr. Jobe who is down in the Dodger clubhouse checking Scioscia's knee.
Mickey Hatcher had the right idea. He said Dr. Jobe is flying in supplies.
They're arriving any moment. 1-1. Good pitch. There's a little fork ball, and the bottom dropped out of it. 1-2. There's Hatch.
He's something. I said, when do you know when you're going to play or what you're going to play? He said, I look at Russell's thumb. If it's up, I'm playing, but I don't know where.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball to the right side to Hubbard. 1 out in the 5th. Dodgers leading 3-1, and Franklin Stubbs coming up. Lined out hard to right in the first inning. Doubled to right center and scored a run, and has made 3 fine plays defensively. And he has really been on Stewart. So let's see what he does with his 3rd at bat. Franklin, big kid out of North Carolina. 4-1. One and one the count. Dodgers scored 2 in the first. The A's came right back with 1. Dodgers added a run in the third, and that's it. The A's squandering a big opportunity in the 4th inning. Off speed, and he missed with it away. Hatcher on deck, then Mike Davis. Overthrew that one. He was trying to throw harder than he can tonight on that pitch. That's why it was so high and away. He released it so early. That thing is up and going to stay up there for a while. Steinbach makes the play. And Stubbs is angry. I think Franklin felt that he had a pitch he could really drive, and he just got under it.
He hit it hard to hit it that high, and when Steinbach flipped his mask, his cap came off. He really has to dance his way through there. Now he gets under, and you can see him uppercut that ball. Now watch when Steinbach gets the mask off, drops him right there. Now he has to really go in between them. A bit dangerous, and I tell you, that was a tough play.
Where's Mickey Hatcher? 4-1. Hatcher single to right. It was a hit and run single. Sachs went to third and eventually scored on a pass ball. Last time up, flied to left.
You know, Kurt Gibson and Orel Hershiser get all the headlines, but if you had a vote most valuable player now, this guy would get a lot of votes. He's been grinding it out every game.
Fly ball back of third, down the line, a trio of A's. Weiss in the middle picks it off. Dodgers gone in order.
Some guys look at this, they see just another brake job. But when you're Mr. Goodwrench, you learn real quick that behind this car, there's a somebody who depends on these wheels. Keeping this car running right's important to them. That's why they brought it back here, to this GM dealership. Just another brake job, not to the guy who drives this car. And not to me either.
Mr. Goodwrench knows it's not just a car, it's a freedom.
You gotta be tough to be a goalie. People are always taking shots at you. That's why goalies like us like to hang out where there's plenty of friendly people, you know. Hi, Eddie. John. Good to see you. Julie, how you doing?
Hey, John.
Hey, John. And plenty of a goalie's favorite beer, Miller Lite. Hiya, Pierre. How's it going, John? Light's less filling, and there's nothing like enjoying the great taste of light with a lot of familiar faces. Yeah. Hey, guys! Who's that? Who's he? Tony Esposito!
No matter where you hang out, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
An ATV is a lot of fun, but it should be taken seriously. So if you ride one, you better follow these instructions. Always wear a helmet and protective clothing. Children under 16 need adult supervision. Children under 16 should never ride adult-sized machines. Inexperienced riders should take a qualified training course. Riding an ATV the wrong way could lead to serious or even fatal injury. If you're gonna play it safe.
Another day, another hobby.
Witness thoroughbred racing as it's never been seen before through the eyes of the world's great cameramen. Saturday, only on NBC Sports World.
A reminder, tomorrow night at 8 p.m., The Cosby Show, followed by Game 5 of the World Series, except on the West Coast, where The Cosby Show will be seen following the game. Bottom of the 5th inning. Dodgers 3, A's 1. Terry Steinbach, Glenn Hubbard, and Walt Weiss. See the scores? I wonder if they're not just trying to stick a little pin in the Dodgers with that reminder. It is the Bay Area against Southern California. Steinbach struck out in the second inning, 0 for 1. Line down the left field line in the corner. Base hit. Steinbach makes the turn and will hold. Good play by Hatcher to get it into Griffin.
He did it last night. He does it again. Keeps the double play in order. Steinbach he's hit the ball harder consistently than anybody in the A's lineup. This ball well hit, and Hatcher in left field plays it just absolute dead perfect and keeps Steinbach at first base. Barehanded, gets it back in, and the double play stays in order.
So Terry Steinbach, 4 for 9 in the series, and the batter is Glenn Hubbard. Hubbard struck out in the third inning, hitting .300 in the series. Steinbach a short lead. Remember, Belcher was very shaky in the fourth inning. He gave up the base hit to Henderson, the walk to Canseco. Then he fought his way off the ropes. We'll see now what he does as Brian Holden is up again back of him. 1 ball, no strikes.
Vinny's A's have 3 base hits, but they've all led off innings, and that's always seems to be the rally starter when you get that leadoff man on. But Belcher's been able to get out of it.
1-1 to Glenn Hubbard. Weiss on deck. 3-1 Dodgers, bottom of the 5th inning. One and 2. Got him, and he just punches out Hubbard, and that gives him 7 strikeouts. Remember, his high this year 8, and he has 7 in 4 1/3 innings.
Usually you look for a breaking ball for the ground ball, but Belcher had his mind made up on strikeout. He just reared back and just threw it right on by him.
Now here's Walt Weiss. He hit the ball hard in the 3rd inning, and Franklin Stubbs made a fine play on it. Stubbs has made plays on Henderson, Weiss, and Lansford. Fisted foul, 0-1.
And he was way behind on it, so he has not lost anything off that fastball.
Bottom of the 5th inning with 1 out, no balls and 1 strike to count to Walt Weiss. The Dodgers leading the A's 3-1, and Terry Steinbach at first, held on by Franklin Stubbs. The starting pitchers still in there, Dave Stewart and Tim Belcher. And that's hit to center, but Shelby was right there.
There's your scouting report right there. Those things just don't happen. That's advanced knowledge.
We mentioned earlier that, and we saw one quick shot of him, the so-called eye in the sky for the Dodgers is in the dugout. Joe Ferguson. If you're old enough to remember the '74 Dodger A's series, Joe Ferguson played right field, caught a fly ball away from Jimmy Wynn off the bat of Reggie Jackson, and threw Sal Bando out at the plate. I guess will always be remembered for that.
Much like they played Weiss to left center field, Shelby is way over now. There you see Ferguson.
Fouled away. Polonia single to left, worked his way around to score in the 1st inning, and then struck out in the 3rd. 0-2.
They have swung way around. Hatcher's near the line. Shelby in left center field. There you see it. Look at all that room in right center field. So it's up to Belcher to make him hit that way. Hit it from center field, from the bag over to the left field line. That's his job if he's going to make him hit it at all.
They just brought Sachs in about 3 feet, and he's way over to his right, but they brought him in more. He was playing him too deep. 1-2. See where Sachs is? He was out on the grass until they brought him into that spot. So this is really control, Joe. You make a mistake here and you have a rabbit at the plate. That's why you have some wide open spaces. Little foul off third. Very doubtful. Hamilton will not have a play.
That's one of the big changes I think that's happened in baseball. Managers are surrounding themselves with coaches who have a specific job, defense, infielders, outfielders. It used to be you'd make a deal in the minor leagues. Hey, if I get to the big leagues as a manager, you're coming with me. And the prime requisite that they could go out and have a beer together. That's not the way it works now.
Too much money at stake.
As we told you last night, if you wonder who that gentleman is, it's George Pfister, former major leaguer working out of the commissioner's office.
1-2. Good save, 2-2. They're going to check at third. Doug Harvey says no swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Terry Steinbach, who singled sharply to left. Good play by Hatcher to hold him to a single. He's still there. 2-2 to Luis Polonia. And that's hit in the air to shallow left center. Shelby coming on to make the play. No runs, 1 hit, and at the end of 5, 3-1 Dodgers.
When the engineers at Nissan designed the new 240SX, they wanted it to have certain acceleration characteristics. The Nissan 240SX. It's a lot of sports car, but you can handle it.
Ever been to the moon, Blue Eyes? Well, hang on tight, baby, because this is liftoff. Now, there's no air up there, so we're just going to have to live on love. It's going to be you, me, and ecstasy. Okay, baby?
Do you believe in love at first sight?
Have you ever been to the moon, Brown Eyes?
Well, I was worried about my hair because I participate in a lot of sports. I have to shampoo every day. And a lot of times I'll shampoo 2-3 times a day. And I worried till I used my daughter's Johnson's baby shampoo.
Johnson's cleans hair clean, leaves hair healthy looking, no matter how much you shampoo.
My hair feels clean using Johnson's baby shampoo, and it feels healthy. And those are the important things to me.
The more you shampoo, the more you need Johnson's.
So, hey, I think I'm doing the right thing for my hair.
On a summer's evening in 1924, perhaps the most significant game in the history of baseball was played. What made the game truly historic was the time of day, nightfall. For on that night, a band of GE engineers ushered in the era of night baseball. Baseball under the lights, making possible for us all the many brilliant nights to come.
Friday, a cop in search of a killer, and the killer searching for him. Jimmy Smits and Marky Post in a world premiere suspense thriller, Blitz, Friday.
The 1988 World Series is brought to you by Nissan, inviting you to test drive the new 240SX.
Top of the 6th inning, 3-1 Dodgers. Mike Davis, John Shelby, and then Rick Dempsey on the corner. Davis hit a ground ball, as you see Oral Hershiser, who figures to get the call tomorrow night. Davis hit the ground ball kicked by Hubbard. And then last time up was aboard on the error charge to Weiss, and this time he lines to Hubbard. So he's playing pepper with the infield. 1 away. After the disappointing year he's had, if ever anybody wanted to do something particularly here in Oakland, it would be Mike Davis.
And he's hit the ball hard. Just no base hits.
And he's got an 0 for 3. John Shelby. Now the Dodgers starting to hack at the first pitch with Stewart. And Steinbach makes a good play. That's a little strange. Stewart is not going hard. To give you an idea, and I realize that you can do whatever you want with numbers, but when Stewart faced the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, he struck out 5 in 8 innings. Tonight, he has not struck out a batter. It's a different pitcher out there.
He's not throwing as hard as he did at Dodger Stadium. And once again, the foul ball area here does come into play. That ball, Steinbach had a lot of room to make that play.
Rick Dempsey, his first at bat. Breaking ball, 1-0. Dempsey, the most valuable player in the '83 World Series, and now becomes very valuable with Mike Scioscia with a twisted knee. We have no further report on Scioscia. I guess you put him under that dreaded line, day to day.
Like Marshall.
Danny Heap on deck. Dempsey facing Dave Stewart. 3 balls and no strikes. Dempsey had a very bad experience at Cleveland. He had his thumb broken in a collision with Bo Jackson. That would be a bad experience. And he's got himself ball 4.
Stewart had a chance to have an easy inning when Shelby popped up on the first pitch, but this base on balls is going to make him work for his next out.
Well, now here comes Danny Heap, and I'm sure he is a much chagrined Danny Heap. He singled in the 2nd inning, but remember in the 4th. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Scioscia going. Heap looked at the 2nd strike, and Scioscia was injured sliding into second base and had to leave. Out away. 0-1. Once again, we have the opportunity. We remind our viewers we'll be selecting the NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game at the conclusion of the ballgame. McGuire, as you can see behind Dempsey, they're not worrying about him, and they'd rather have a glove with a left-handed hitter. Hard at Hubbard, but he stays with it. So the Dodgers leave Dempsey at the end of 5½. Dodgers 3, A's 1.
You're the one they depend on to see it through. In this world it all counts, and they're counting on you to show that world some style. You've been waiting for this time to come, and you know that time is here. You're living in real time. Seco time. Living in real time. Seco time. Living in real time.
What do we mean when we say the new Nissan 240 SX is uniquely designed to provide excellent cornering? The Nissan 240 SX. It's a lot of sports car, but you can handle it.
For today.
After a long day of eating hot lead, there's nothing better than drinking a cold Miller Lite. Light sure tastes great, and it really is less filling.
Shoot, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Hey, Joe, give me another. That didn't fill me up at all.
Delta Airlines flight attendant Irene Lockwoody loves to fly.
Are you still here? My son was supposed to meet me. Well, I'll wait with you. That kid is always late.
What she loves most are the people she meets.
He must have got caught in the rain. He was even born late. Joey!
Ma! Irene is what Delta's all about.
Irene. Yes? Are you married? Yep. 2 kids. Late again, Joey.
We love to fly, and it shows.
Next Wednesday on Unsolved Mysteries, you'll hear authentic ghost recordings and see places of unexplained hauntings. You may help uncover a mystery. Unsolved Mysteries next Wednesday.
There might be a little story here. We told you the background about Joe Ferguson in the '74 World Series. The fact that he's the Dodger eye in the sky. He was not allowed in the dugout during the League Championship Series. However, the commissioner's office has allowed him to be in the Dodger dugout, and I'm wondering if that's really the case, or if perhaps Oakland felt there was some advantage to Los Angeles having him with the walkie-talkie up above the playing field. It's rare that he's back in the dugout, I'll tell you that.
It really is. I'm just trying to, why would it even bother him if he'd be up here?
There's a base hit to left field for Dave Henderson. So that means the leadoff man continues to get on in the first inning, in the fourth inning, in the fifth inning, and in the sixth inning. So 4 of the 6 leadoff singles, and here's the big guy again. Boy, you talk about doing things the hard way. You're leading by 2, and you let him come up representing the tying run.
And followed by Parker and McGuire.
And Holton down in the fifth.
And Horton, it looked like.
Ball 1. Ricky Horton, a left-hander. Brian Holton, the right-hander. And no mistake as to who's at the plate.
And he's not looking for any signs, is he?
1 ball and no strikes. On the fists. Jammed him. Foul. Stubbs in a hurry. Backhands it. That's his 4th big play, and he could have only made it here at the Coliseum.
And he had a wall of Dodgers there ready to protect him, and that's a big, big play by Franklin Stubbs, who was put in because of the bat. And Latchman is arguing. Yes, they're going to argue. Watch it here. A lot of room in foul territory. Now, does somebody help him up?
You know, if he falls down in the dugout, the runner at first can advance. That's the argument. Sure.
Ground rule.
Where did he fall? Take a look at the dugout. Is he in it or on the top or what? Can't see.
Well, it's a top step where he falls. He's in it.
Yeah, because the rule says that you can go into a dugout to catch a foul ball, but if you go down in that dugout, the base runner advances, and that was the Oakland argument.
He makes the catch here outside the dugout. He's on the top step, takes 2 steps, 3, and now he's in. And Hershiser and those guys pointed, hey, base runner's at first base, and he's going to stay there.
That's the 4th brilliant defensive play by Franklin Stubbs. And to take an at-bat away from Canseco really makes it a play. And here now is Dave Parker. 1-0.
Tell you, in this park, that's the only park. Maybe Atlanta you could make it, but that's a lot of room.
Where is he?
The momentum carries him in.
Then they kind of push him out. And I can understand the Oakland argument. 1 ball and no strikes. And Jose thinking of what might have been. One ball and 1 strike the count to Dave Parker. And he goes the other way to Hatcher in left field because he didn't get the bat around. That was a pretty good pitch if Parker can't get it around. Dave didn't get it more off his shoulder than anything else.
They jammed him. McGuire's had some good pitches to hit. He had 2 good pitches to hit that first time at bat. Here's the pitch to Parker. He just got tied up. You could see he didn't get those big arms out there to where he could really whip that bat into it. And Belcher, 2 big outs, and here's McGuire.
And another guy who can get you even in a hurry. Struck out, flied to center, 0 for 2. Dodgers 3, A's 1, bottom of the 6th inning, 2 out. Foul ball, and even Stubbs tonight can't catch that one.
Belcher's going right after McGuire. At first time at bat, 4 good fastballs. And the second time at bat, it looked like the ball that he hit to center field was the same pitch he hit into the seats last night.
Parker, Hubbard deep in thought. It's still 3-1 Dodgers, bottom of the 6th. McGuire with Lansford to follow. And Henderson, the leadoff man at first. Fouled away, 0-2.
There's no finessing going on here. He's going with strength.
0-2 the count to Mark McGuire.
Great study of McGuire regrouping and Belcher deciding on this pitch.
Cut fastball. Boy, did that thing jump. 1-2.
Spotted it well, and outside part to plate. He's going for that corner. If you miss, that's where you want to miss. Because if that ball goes towards the batter, it's going to be right over the plate. You know what this fellow can do with it.
1-2. Two balls and 2 strikes with 2 out. Henderson at first. Bottom of the 6th inning, 3-1 Dodgers. And Dempsey going out to the mound.
They just want to make sure on this particular pitch that it's the one of decision where exactly he wants it and get a meeting of the minds. Whatever sign he puts down. They've talked about this pitch and the next one. Griffith just listening, shaking his head. No,
Dempsey
no, no.
is 39 years old. As he goes behind the plate, he has been catching professionally since 1967. And he first came up to the big leagues in 1969 with Minnesota. So he's trying to use the experience and maturity to help bail out Belcher.
Belcher's made 96 pitches, if you're wondering.
Fouled away. Tony La Russa seeing leadoff men get aboard. So far, he's been able to cash in 1. Tommy Lasorda has been worrying about Belcher since the 4th inning. Remember, he had 9 in a row retired until Socia was hurt. Ball 3, and that will turn Henderson loose with 2 out. It also means Stubbs gets off the bag, and Carney Lansford waits on deck. Stubbs, the age-old sign to the pitcher, one wrist over the other. I'm off the bag. Henderson ready to go. 3-2. Fouled away.
He just is living on that outside part of the plate. When he's missed, he's been outside.
Dodgers with 2 in the first. The A's bounce right back with 1. Dodgers got 1 in the 3rd, and that's it. We're now in the bottom of the 6th, 2 out. And last night's hero, Mark McGwire, at the plate. 3-2. Henderson goes. Ball 4. I don't really think in his heart that Belcher wanted that much of McGwire.
Well, I don't think he was pitching around even because he came too close with those other pitches, but he was not going to give in to him. If he was going to miss, he was going to miss the outside part of the plate. He wasn't going to say, hey, here, hit it if you can. He wasn't going to challenge him that way.
He started him off, no balls, 2 strikes. And then after that, he was trying to paint, trying to get the black.
He was trying to live on that corner and may have overthrown it a little bit, that last one. Watch the first ball on this guy, though.
Remember, he popped up and then grounded out to Stubbs. So he's hungry. Ball 1. So Belcher, in his 2nd troublesome inning, along with the 1st inning when he gave up a run. He got out of a jam in the 4th. Ball 2, and that was more of a save by Dempsey, otherwise wild pitch.
He really caught that ball well. He got the body in front of it, and you know that Belcher just threw way beyond himself. Peranowski's going to come out and talk to him as if to say, look, you've had pretty good stuff so far. You can't do it by yourself. Just be yourself and throw that good fastball that you have.
Now, again, we get back to the 2 things about Belcher. In the middle of the game, he has a habit of not turning his body enough. And the other thing is, and the main concern of Peranowski right now, is that he will aim. He falls into that habit. And with behind 2 balls and no strikes, if he aims, that 1st inning fastball that was fouled back into the seats could be a bolt of lightning. Runners at 1st and 2nd. McGwire at 1st. Henderson at 2nd. 2 out. 2-0 to Carney Lansford. Line drive into right field, base hit. Henderson will score. McGwire stops at 2nd. 3-2 Dodgers. So far,
I was going to say, it looked like a fastball, the outside part of the plate. He didn't really hit it that hard, but he got a piece of enough of that ball to drive it to the opposite field. If he tries to pull it, it's a ground ball. That was a good piece of hitting.
It was also his first hit of the World Series. What a time to get it. And the batter now is Terry Steinbach, who's been hitting the ball hard. Ball one. So in the inning, Henderson singled, Canseco fouled out, and Parker flied out. He had McGuire 0-2 and walked him, and Lansford singled in the run. 1 ball, no strikes. Foul back. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the A's.
And Dempsey and Belcher have gone away from the fastball with Steinbach. 2 breaking balls here. That one may have been out of the strike zone.
Tim Belcher is ready to make his 20th pitch of the inning, and he's gone over the 100 mark by plenty. So they're really watching him now. 1 and 2, breaking ball.
You have to give him the fastball.
Steinbach struck out in the 2nd inning and singled in the 5th.
Straight down, good downer.
1 and 2. Horton and Holton in the bullpen back of Belcher. 2 and 2, and he went with that cut fastball. That thing really ran again. So Deuce is wild in the 6th. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. Dodgers 3, A's 2. Ground ball to Stubbs. He'll take it to the bag. So the A's get a run on 2 hits and a walk and lead 2. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
It's been called a terrifyingly powerful threat.